Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Vanessa and today we're going to talk about interpersonal effectiveness. We're going to look at how to communicate effectively. So there's a different technique that we use to communicate effectively, and this is called the Dear Man technique. So I'm going to take you through the steps of the Dear Man technique. So Dear Man, as it is, each letter in Dear Man stands for something. The D stands for describe, E stands for express, A stands for assert, R stands for reinforce, M stands for being mindful, A A stands for appear confident, and N stands for negotiate. So now I'm going to take you through all the steps individually. So the first one we'll look at is describe. So when you're trying to communicate something effectively, let's say it's something that had upset you. Let's say you had planned with your partner or friend or something, and you were supposed to have it at like dinner time or something, but then this person doesn't show up doesn't show up at the time that they said they will show up. So under describe, we're going to look at you describing the situation to the person. You're going to stick to the facts. Because you don't want to come up with things from the past or whatever. So you just stick to what the current situation is. So you look at the situation, you stick to the facts, and then you describe the situation to the person, because you want to tell the person exactly what you are reacting to. Okay, so you're gonna tell the person what you're reacting to. I'll give an example. So for example, now this is you practicing the Dear Man technique under describe. An example would be, so you would say something like, you told me you would be home by dinner, but you didn't come home until 11. So there, in that instance, you have described the situation. Okay, now the second step we're going to look at is express. What you're going to do in this step is you're going to express your feelings and thoughts about the situation, your feelings, thoughts, and opinions about the situation, because you cannot assume that the person knows how you feel. A good example here, because we're going to stick to the example with the situation that I presented earlier. So now we're going to see how you can express yourself in this instance. So what you're going to say is, when you come home late, I start to worry about you. It's very important to express how you feel or to express your thoughts and opinions about a situation, because remember, in the beginning you had said something. This is something that you both agreed on doing, and then let's say the person said they'll be there by dinner time is like 6 p.m, let's say, and this person only shows up at 11 o'clock. Obviously that time from 6 to 11 you'd be worried, because number one, the person is not communicating, they're not telling you they are running late or anything like that. They just, they just show up when they show up, and it's not nice. So you need to communicate to the person that, hey, look, this is a problem and it's not nice. So yeah, so you express yourself, you first describe the situation, and then you express yourself. Okay, this is how effective communication goes. So now we're going to look at the third step, which is assert yourself. How you assert yourself is by asking for what you want and saying no clearly. Okay, so do not assume that people will figure out what you want. You have to remember that people cannot read your mind. So how would you assert yourself in this instance? The best way to assert yourself in this situation that I had just described to you guys is, you would first tell the person that, you would say something like this: I would really like it if you would call when you're running late. You want to avoid words like you should call me or you have to call me. You shouldn't command, you should like be considerate in how you ask. You should be like, you should state that you would like or you would want for the person to communicate when things are not going as should. And the cool part about asserting yourself is that this is the key area where you now set your boundaries, and you have to be very clear about your boundaries, because boundaries are not meant to be crossed, they are meant to be respected. The fourth step we're going to look at is reinforce. So now in the situation that we described earlier, remember? So first what you do is you describe the situation. Number two, you express your feelings, thoughts, and opinions about the situation. Number three, you assert yourself. That's where you set your boundaries and you clearly state or request the person to do something a certain way for the benefit of both of you. Okay, so now we're going to look at reinforce. So in this step, what you do is you reinforce the person ahead of time by explaining the positive benefits, positive effects of you getting what you want. And if necessary, you can also explain the negative consequences of you not getting what you need. So in the example described earlier, in the situation described earlier, an example of reinforcing would be something like, I would be so relieved and a lot more easier to live with if you do that. So remember when you were asserting the person, you said that you would like for them to contact you when they are running late. And then when you reinforce that statement, you're saying that you would appreciate if the person does that, so that you would be so relieved and easier to live with if they did that. Okay. The fifth step we're going to look at is stay mindful. Okay, so in this step, what you need to do is don't get distracted. You need to keep focus on your goals. You have to maintain your position and don't get off topic. It's very important that you don't get off topic, because that would create a misunderstanding that would create a misunderstanding, and that's not the objective of the whole situation, because you want to communicate effectively. You don't want to create a misunderstanding. You check. So so in this step, what you're gonna do is you're basically gonna become a broken record, because you have to consistently ask or say the same thing that you're trying to communicate over and over again. So if it is that you're not happy with how they didn't communicate in time, so you'll keep on saying that it wasn't nice of you to keep me waiting and not let me know of where you were or how far you were going or how long you're going to take to get here. So what you're also going to do in this instance is you're going to ignore their attacks, because you know how people are. They become defensive and they just, they start attacking you in the process. So what you're going to do is you're going to just reinforce what you had said. You're going to mention the positive and negative consequences of the person doing what they did or did not do. So for example, if the person threatens to change the subject or deflect from what you're currently trying to say, you have to now ignore that and tell them, I would still like a call. I would still like for you to call me if you're running late. The key here is to keep making your point until you're heard. So step number 6 is appear confident. The key to effective communication is confidence. So what you're going to do is you have to appear confident, okay? So when you're confident, you do not whisper, you do not stammer, you do not speak in a soft voice. No, 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 no. You have to be clear, you have to be loud, you have to appear competent, you have to use a confident voice or tone. You have to maintain a confident voice, tone, and physical manner that will make the person take you seriously. Because if you whisper or talk so silently, the person will not take you seriously. They'll talk over you, they will threaten to change the discussion, and then you won't be able to get what you want from the discussion as a whole. The final step we'll look at is negotiate. So this is the part where you are willing to give in order to get. So you can suggest to the person, you can ask for other solutions to the problem. Okay, this is also where you can actually reduce your request. Remember in the earlier steps where we spoke about asserting, when you actually ask for what you want, where we ask, where the person where in that instance you would ask for the person to call you if they're running late. So now in reducing your request, you would say, how about you text me when you're late? So now you're not asking for a call anymore, you're asking for a text. So that is you reducing your request. And if all this doesn't work, you can turn the tables around. You can ask the person, so if it was you in that situation, what would you have liked me to do? Because I clearly can't stop worrying about you when you just go MIA, and we have like plans. So now you ask the person for solutions. You can ask the person for solutions, and then from you take it from there. Okay guys, so you've made it to the end of this video. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up and see you in my next video. Bye.